Hi guys, and welcome to my Fourboysandanlgirl podcast. My name is Patty. I'm coming to you from the beautiful province of Newfoundland and Labrador, the most easterly province in Canada. It is a so-so day here today. It is Friday, October 20th. I'm finally getting around to another podcast after my last podcast coming from Ireland. I kind of feel like this podcast is going to be a bit anticlimactical because I don't have my lovely co-host Catherine, hi Catherine, here with me. And I really loved the energy that we had when we podcasted together. So maybe Catherine, you could come over and podcast with me again. You know, we got a spare bedroom. We have 2 spare bedrooms. You can come join me. I don't mind. This is a podcast about knitting, crocheting, quilting, sewing, painting, cross-stitching, quilting. I think I said quilting. Basically anything that I get around to doing in the run of a week, which is a fair bit. Although this past week I have been working on a huge project, and I'm going to show you a little bit of footage right now about that project. Please don't judge because it's a mess, and I'm going to show you my studio mess that I have decided I'm bound and determined to get cleaned up. Here it is. There, so you've seen one of my dirty little secrets. My whole house is pretty much a dirty little secret. What you see on the podcast is just one small corner that I've rapidly cleaned up before I podcast. And the rest of the house is filled with boy toys, it's filled with my toys, it's filled with very few of my husband's toys actually. He's the only one that's neat in the family. One of us has to be. So yeah, I'm trying to get my studio sorted out. I'm really excited. I've already made one project down there. I started 2 nights ago. I just sat and decided, you know what, I want to make something in my new room even though I'm not finished yet. And I'll show you that in a minute in finished objects. Catherine, I'm showing off. I am drinking Earl Grey tea. I never drink tea on the podcast because I'm always afraid I'm going to choke. So I'm going to take a little sip of tea. We'll see if I choke. It is Earl Grey. It's from Steep Tea, which is a direct sales company here in Canada. I love David's tea as well, and I love Twinings tea, and I love basically any kind of tea as long as it's Earl Grey. I'm a little bit picky about liking Earl Grey. I love other flavored teas besides Earl Grey, but my kind of go-to everyday tea is Earl Grey. So here we go. I didn't choke, yay! So I'm going to get my finished object. I'll be right back. My craft room, or my studio, as I'm starting to call it, is such that I really don't need to go very far to get supplies. I've been I've been a creative person all my life, but in terms of collecting craft things, that's been for the past 25 years. And I think my studio is full of things that I've had from 25 years ago to now. So basically, if I want to make something, pretty much I have the products on hand to do so. And one of the things that I like to do are ornaments for Christmas, and I like to do felted ornaments. Nice. So I sat down in my studio, and I was still surrounded by things that need to be cleaned up. It's still that way. I'm getting there. I'll give you another picture at the end of the podcast that shows kind of my progress to date. But I decided that, you know what, I just want to make something. I want to stop cleaning. I need a break from the cleaning. So I threw together some pieces of felt that I had literally lying around, and I came up with this cute little Christmas ornament. So it's just 3 pieces of felt laid on top of each other. Hopefully the camera's picking up on the stitches. I put in some French knots in the white. I put in some blanket stitch in the, I think, purple. Yep, purple, and then yellow running stitch all the way around. I still need to glue some felt to the back, but you don't really need to see that part. So this is my finished object for the week, because in knitting, I have works in progress, not finished objects. Now, last time we spoke with when I was in Ireland for my wonderful trip that I'm still not reeling from, I'm still affected by, because it was such a good trip. I have taken several solo trips over the past few years, and I think it was probably the best one that I've ever had. Everybody was so warm and welcoming. It's a country I've been to before, so I was fairly comfortable with the getting around myself and with making my own travel arrangements. And the retreat itself was just so relaxing and wonderful, getting to know people, and it was all about the knitting. It was just great. So I'm kind of, I'm still very much running on a high from that experience, which has been wonderful. What am I going to talk about next? So next, I want to show you, if you're follow my Instagram feed, you would have seen this before, but I don't think I've podcasted about it yet. So we have a new niece in my family. I think I had put a picture of her on one of my vlogs before I went to Ireland. And my beautiful niece is still so very small. She's so small. She's just tiny. Well, all babies are small, but I think once you have your children and they get to be around the age of mine, which is 6, 8, and 10, you forget how small they originally came in that cute little package. So I'm enjoying doing some baby knits. And the first thing that I'm working on is a baby blanket. I'm using CARON cakes for this, and I'll put the information on the screen, but one of them is CARON cake, where's the color? Rainbow Sprinkles, and the other one is Rainbow Sherbet. Hindsight being 2020, I probably should have picked up 2 of the same colored balls for this project. I don't think the colors, they don't clash, but they're not perfectly, I would have preferred, I think, to have had 2 of the same colors happening in this blanket, but that's not going to happen because I'm not picking up any more CARON cakes. I want to knit this up. So I have, let's see, it's going to be a square. I'm doing the Easy 4 Square Baby Blanket, and so this is so there's white intersecting horizontally and vertically. So here's the first one. Hopefully you can see that. And the second one is still in nails. I think I'm maybe 6 rows away to finishing this side. So there's more kind of fallish. These colors are a little bit more muted, a little bit more fallish. So together, you can see the difference? This side is definitely much more muted than this side. I hope the camera's picking up on this. So like I said, I'm almost finished the main body. Next I have to add a vertical piece between these two and join them. Then I have to do top, bottom, and sides border on the blanket. And I was considering crocheting, but I think I am going to knit it. I'm going to follow the pattern pretty much to exactly, although I may pick up stitches, do the border a little bit differently than calls for in the pattern. I'm not sure. I'll let you know what changes, if any, that I make. So I'm really enjoying that project. I'm enjoying it. It's just straight garter stitch. I want to get it done. I'm at the point where I want to get it done. And of course, decided last night I should cast on another project to go with this, which I had planned on doing, but I hadn't really planned on doing it last night. So I want to show it off. I've got it housed in my brand new Sunshine and Bubblegum sock drawstring bag. I love this bag. It's fallish. It's not Halloweenish, it's fallish, which I did on purpose. I wanted to have a beautiful fall bag. So I love the bunnies and the bears and the foxes and the toadstools and the polka dots, and then inside is a beautiful chevron material. So that's really cute. So in here, I decided to cast on Tin Can Knits Barley Hat, which is a free pattern on Ravelry. Have I done a Tin Cans knit before? I don't think I have. I've downloaded several other patterns, but I don't think I've actually knit anything yet. So I'm just doing the infant size Barley Hat, which is 66 stitches on the needles. I'm having a problem though. See here in the back? I've got this huge hole. And I can't for the life of me figure out why I have this hole. I can't tell if I don't think I've dropped a stitch. Anyway, apart from that hole, everything's going well. I may have to take it back and see if I can fix that, because I even have a hole right up at the top where I should no longer have a hole. Anyway, we'll see how it, there we go. I've got it tightened up there a bit. So it's, I'm just using the leftovers from the blanket. Hopefully you can see that. So it started off with kind of a red rouge color to yellow, and then I'm going to use the green and the blue. So this little hat will perfectly match the blanket. I'm quite concerned about this hole though. Not sure what I'm going to do about that. I'll have to see. What I know I can sew it up after I'm done, but that's not really, I prefer not to have a hole when I'm making it. Anyway, I'll sort that out. So those are my works in progress. I have not been working on my Madewell cardigan or my socks for my husband. My socks for my pen pal are gone. I'll insert a picture here actually of those. So these socks are a pair that I finished for my pen pal Victoria. Hi Victoria! Victoria and I are doing the pen pal cowl that Pause for Stitches and Lucky Jenny Knits. Hi Jenny, hi Candy, are knitting for, or the cowl that they are hosting. So our challenge was to knit a pair of socks for each other, 4 points, and I knit a half pair of socks for Victoria, and I'm super slow, and I finally got them in the mail this week, so hopefully Victoria will have them next week. So I don't have them here to show you, so I guess technically that's another finished object. But I really want to get my husband's socks finished. He's going to be away for 2 weeks in November over our birthday, so I have time then to get them finished without him knowing, and I also plan on knitting him a hat as well, with some yarn that I picked up this summer, and in Bedeck, Nova Scotia, so I'll show you that at a later date. The other thing I want to show you is that with my bag that Lynn at Sunshine, hi Lynn, at Sunshine and Bubblegum had made for me, she also included some extra goodies. So I picked this up and I had purchased the bag. And inside the bag, she included 2 gorgeous stitch markers. I had purchased the, hopefully you can see this, the little fox and a little owl. And if you can't see those, I'll take a separate picture and add it, put that on the screen. She also included a couple of teas. Look, one of them's Earl Grey and one of them's a chai, and I do love chai, so that's just lovely. But the other thing that Sweet Lynn, thank you so much for these. She included 2 balls of Felici sock yarn. Look at that. Aren't they beautiful? They remind me of the ocean and the hills. This is my first time touching Felici yarn. I have heard so much about Knit Picks Felici. I am thrilled to have this. I've heard so much about it, but I've never felt it before, and I never realized how soft this is. This is amazingly soft. It is really nice. Really nice. So Lynn, thank you so much. I love it, and I will knit myself a pair of socks, and I will name them after you. That's about it for me. I am going to show you at the end of this podcast. I was out in an area called Northern Bay Sands last week, and I took some footage for the podcast of the beautiful sandy beach out there. And I want to get back in the habit now of showing off my beautiful province that I used to do. Seems like months and months and months ago. Before I went on holidays this summer, I usually put in some footage of Newfoundland and Labrador or someplace that I visited, so I'm going to hopefully get back on the bandwagon with that. So these are some shots of that area. I hope you enjoy them. And one thing I did forget to talk about is what I'm wearing. I am wearing the Age of Brass and Steam shawl in a colorway called the 4 Main Food Groups, which is from Legacy Fiber Arts. And I have it put together with this beautiful, now let me get something to put behind this beautiful shawl pin, which I picked up at Cast On Cast Off in St. John's, Newfoundland. And that's one of my my main local knitting store. I picked it up last weekend when they had their grand reopening at a new location. Thank you so much for joining me today. I hope you've enjoyed this podcast. I really enjoyed sitting down with you. I kind of lost my podcasting mojo, I have to admit. I was a bit scared to podcast today, so I thought I've really got to sit down and say hello to everybody and connect. And I'd like to wish everybody who is enjoying Rhinebeck this weekend, I hope you have a wonderful time. I'm going to have a wonderful weekend. I have a Hokkien and Rokoking executive meeting this weekend, so I'm really looking forward to both. And so it's kind of like the rug, it's not the rug hooking equivalent of Rhinebeck, but it's really a nice second choice. Anyway, I hope everybody has a great weekend and that I get a chance to sit down and chat with you again soon. Take care. Bye-bye.